So the 80-20 rule really came from an economic principle, but at some point people realized it just tended to exist in the world in all kinds of forms.
It's also
And it's
called Pareto's principle.
it's the idea that like always if you have a company, 20% of your customers will result in 80% of your income. Take Star Wars. Star Wars, most of the fans will just like go to the movies, and that's the only money Star Wars will ever make off of them. But some of the fans will buy the
20,
toys.
20% of them.
20% of them will buy the toys, and will go to the conferences, will watch all of the things, not just a movie because it's the big thing. Now of course they're losing those 20% of people because Disney sucks, but that's besides the point. But basically the idea is for almost all things you can get 80% of the results by learning 20% of the things. 80% of the money from 20% of the customers. You get 80% of the battle of learning to songwrite better or mix better is learning 20% of things.
All you have to do is focus on that 20% and you're going to get 80% of the way there.
And even if you do the 64-4, it's really exciting to know you can learn 4% of the things and get over half the results, which to me is like EQ and compression, and learning how to set volume is probably that 4% that gets you 64% of the results in mixing. Somebody like you can help people cross from the 64% to the 80% to the 90, 95%. But just to prevent overwhelm, start with that. Or with songwriting, I'll pick on music theory specifically. A large part of the reason I talk about the 4 pillars of music theory is, yeah, there is an overwhelming amount of music theory. Some of it is super useful. Some of it is useful, but not necessary right away. None of it is necessary, I guess. And then some of it is like maybe never useful. Like, is it useful to know what a French chord is? I think I remember what notes were in a French chord, but totally worthless. I'll admit that. Totally worthless. Can get overwhelmed by music theory, but the 4% that gets you 64% of the results is just knowing keys, knowing chords, and then understanding chord progressions. Is it nice to then go farther and learn different types of chords like sus chords and add chords and seventh chords and the different type of seventh chords, how to use inversions, learning to use dyads instead of triads, where you have just 2 notes in the chord instead of 3, which is the standard for, major minor chords are all 3-note chords. So learning to use dyads, a ton to learn that is useful, but you can win most of the battle or really make a lot of progress with just a little bit goes a long way.